Purdey. Let's take a look at what you wrote. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated the effects of serving convenience food instead of home-cooked meals for families, persons, and society. Okay. Some believe that it has no negative effect. Personally, I strongly disagree. This essay will argue that this trend is harmful, using examples from the UK government and Oxford University to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, so what you've done is you've shown a good use of the template, and that's great, but there are some adjustments that you have to make to make this make a little more sense. So, let's see. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated the effects of serving convenience food instead of home-cooked meals on families, persons, and societies. Okay, this was confusing for me when I saw it, and so it's on the effects of this on these people. Now, here you've got two contrasting statements, right? And what you've done is you put a comma here, but that's not enough because they're contrasting. Negative effect, I disagree. You need to do something extra when it's contrasting like this. So I would have had a however, a but, or a yet. So some believe that it has no negative effect. However, personally, I strongly disagree. Okay, you absolutely need it. This essay will argue that this trend is harmful using examples. Fine. There is ample evidence that there are multiple negative effects of eating fast food instead of traditional dinners. The central reason behind this is twofold. I would have put a semicolon here, not just a comma. Firstly, convenience food, has less nutrients. Wrong word. Okay, nutrients. More salt and a high amount of calories. Secondly, there is less variation in ingredients used in fast food. Less healthy foods. Food. Less healthy food leads to certain illnesses like diabetes, obesity. You need the noun here. And heart diseases. For example, recent empirical research by the UK government demonstrated that while eating fast food on a regular basis, it increases the chances by 50% that a person will develop diabetes. It must not be forgotten that although the research showed the effects for an individual and its family, these effects are also detrimental for society as a result of increased health costs that will come at a cost to the taxpayers. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that the increased consumption of fast food has detrimental effects in the long term. Okay. So I was concerned when I was reading up to here that there was no mention of the individual and families and society. I would have liked to see you incorporate at least one of them a little earlier. Okay, so how about this? There is ample evidence that there are multiple negative effects of eating fast food instead of traditional dinners on both individuals and families directly and indirectly on society. It was really that easy, and that would have really helped. So, and if you had said, yeah, we can understand then that this is about the individual. So, what about the family as like a unit? How is the family affected? Because essentially, when you're talking about health, it's really talking about the individual. Now, you made it clear to us how it affects society, but the family is a little bit of a stretch here. Okay, so not only was I not really happy that you only kind of mentioned the word here, there's really nothing about the family as a unit and how this affects it. I'll talk to you about it a little more as we continue, so you'll see what I mean by that. Okay, although there are obvious reasons for not replacing traditional, although there are obvious reasons for not replacing traditional meals with fast food, there is a positive short-term effect to mention. Okay, we're going to talk about this. A home-cooked meal takes a lot of time to prepare. Instead of one person spending a long time alone in the kitchen with convenience food, there is more family time together. This reason can be easily debated because you can change the cooking time in a family activity. Thus it is possible to state there are only negative effects accompanying this trend. All right, this paragraph for me, Purdey, was weak. And I'll tell you why. But let me first read your conclusion. For the arguments and examples give from the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that although it might be a possibility to increase family time by serving convenience food, the long-term detrimental effects to individuals and society outweigh the short-term benefit. Okay, so let me tell you why this to me was a paragraph that you need to replace. Because what did you say? Personally, I strongly agree. I strongly disagree. Okay? Some believe it has no negative effect. Personally, I strongly disagree. So when I hear that you strongly disagree, and the essay says to what extent you agree or disagree, I assume that I'm only going to hear things in favor of your argument. Okay? So for me, this paragraph really just came out of nowhere. So that's going to affect your coherence and cohesion. There's not a logical progression of ideas. You never clued me in to the possibility that you were going to talk about the opposite side of the argument. And so I feel like this came out of nowhere to me. Okay? However, there is a way to fix it. You could have said, some believe that it has no negative effects, period. Or how about this? Personally, while families may benefit from fast food, on the whole, I believe fast food is a negative trend. Okay, so when you do that, you show us that, you know what, I've looked at it in all ways, positives, negatives, who is it positive for, who is it negative for, and that's what I'm going to talk about. If you had done that in your introduction, then we could accept something like this. Okay? But your introduction is an introduction for a reason. It introduces us to what you're going to say. Okay? So your introduction has to really reflect what's in your body paragraphs. Okay? And if it doesn't, then it's going to affect your coherence and cohesion score. So let's now talk about this paragraph a little more. First of all, this is called your concession paragraph. This is the paragraph that is weaker. It's not the paragraph that you really truly support 100%. It should go first. So I would have put this paragraph here and then this paragraph here. Then I would have stated it differently. Okay, so what I would have said is there are some positives to be found from the use of fast foods, particularly as far as families are concerned. Many families are very short on time. Therefore, traditional meals cooked daily are a luxury, if not impossible. Okay? Then, this is where fast food can help facilitate the family's needs by providing a filling meal, typically at a low cost, and of course, with far less time. This additional time allows families to spend more time together and also fulfilling other obligations that are necessary. Okay? Therefore, fast food certainly has a place in many households as it can help achieve a good family lifestyle. Okay? And that's how you would do it. Then you could talk about everything that's negative about this. All right? So that's how I want to see this. Does that make sense? I hope so. So let's take a look. Now, look what you did here. You did here what I wanted you to do in your introduction. Although it might be a possibility to increase family time, you should have done something like that in your introduction. Okay? Just to give you an idea of what I'm looking for. Let's keep going. Shoes, great. The bar chart shows the sales of two types of shoes in thousands in 9 European countries. All right, what kinds of shoes? Don't just tell me two types. Tell me black and brown leather. It's an introduction, so you need to introduce the types of shoes. The highest amount of black leather shoes was sold in Hungary and Italy with 140,000 and 120,000, 25,000 respectively. In Belgium, black leather shoes were the least favorite with only 10,000. This is the lowest point of the graph. The figures for Germany, Ireland, and Poland were almost the same at around 70,000 shoes sold. Great, fine. When looking at the brown leather shoes, the greatest amount of shoes sold is in Poland with 135,000, which is almost as high as the peak of black leather shoes. Not the peak, careful, as which is almost as high as the greatest number. which is almost as high as the figure of black leather shoes in Hungary. You could have said that. In Hungary and Germany, the number of shoes sold is about equal, namely 130,000. The lowest amount for the brown leather shoes is in France with only 30,000. It can be seen from the bar chart that the sales of brown and black leather differs enormously between the 9 countries in Europe. Overall, there's a slight preference for black leather shoes. Okay, I like this. You did something that I liked. You focused on the highs, you focused on the lows, and then kind of just here and there sprinkled in some information about those middle countries. The one thing that I want you to be careful about here, and this is something that a lot of IELTS candidates don't know, is that you really do need to mention all 9 countries. You need to mention them by name. Why? Because those are your categories. And as categories, they are considered key pieces of information. Without them, it's going to be hard to get anything above a 4 in task achievement. How can you do this effectively? It's really quite simple. The bar chart shows the sales of 2 types of shoes in thousands in 9 European countries. And then here, just put the names of the countries in parentheses. It's fine. And as long as you've mentioned them at least once, we don't feel like we're missing key information. Okay? So that's pretty much what I want to tell you about this. I hope you find this information helpful. I hope you can apply some of these suggestions to your next set. Looking forward to it. Good luck to you.